So recently I put out a survey on my Instagram asking people what they wanted to hear next on my channel. And the winning answer was, how has my experience in traditional martial arts helped currently in my pursuits in combat sports? So in this episode, we're going to go deep into that and talk about which parts of my traditional martial arts have transferred over into the combat world. Okay, so when we say traditional martial arts, technically I compete Muay Thai, and Muay Thai is a traditional martial art. But we're going to focus on what the kind of normal definition, which is usually something where like Taekwondo, karate, Kung Fu's, that's normally where people are thinking when they say traditional martial art. And I really have experience in maybe 3 that I really focus on. So we're going to kind of go through each of those. So yeah, we're going to start with Wushu karate. My very first one is a very sturdy, strong Okinawan style, very rooted to the ground, not a lot of high kicks, not a lot of moving, but it's a very sturdy system. And it has a lot of benefits that could be comparable to, say, Kyokushin. As in, it's very strong and very focused on the iron body techniques, getting a strong body, being able to take damage, take punishment, and push through your opponent. And one thing that I learned a lot from is it really focuses on the Sanchin, probably more than any system, except for maybe Goju. Goju and Ishin also really focus on the Sanchin, but Weichi has a deep focus on understanding the balance and your body mechanics within the Sanchin position. And that has helped me a surprising amount when it comes to my clinch sparring. I'm very comfortable in the clinch, in the Muay Thai clinch, where you're grabbing each other and wrestling and kneeing and throwing and elbows like from that position. And Sanchin has given me a great understanding of my body's balance and movement and sturdiness, and how to use very micro movements to be able to move and control and protect myself while in that clinch position. So yeah, those would be the 2 biggest factors from Weichi, would be the Sanchin and the iron body. All right, so the next martial art that I would give a lot of focus to for me would be Taekwondo or American karate, however you want to look at it. I am not what you consider classically trained in those systems. I've had many friends throughout my martial art journey who have either joined me in Weichi or Muay Thai, or who also trained in that system, and I've worked with them specifically to learn the kicks. Even now, I have a kicking instructor who's a world champion instructor. He trained multiple world champions in both forms and sparring. People who are on the same fight team as Raymond Daniels and Sage Northcutt that have been helping me perfect my kicks. A lot of people, when they see me fight, they tell I have a karate background, but most of the stuff they're picking up on is not my actual karate background of Weichi. It's the Taekwondo kick side that they're seeing, because I do apply it a lot. One of my old nicknames in one of my old gyms was Axe Kick, because I would throw axe kicks all the time. And I don't do that so much anymore because it was really pissing people off. They don't like it. The bottom of the foot touching the top of the head is considered disrespectful in Muay Thai. And so throwing axe kicks is a bit of a no-no in sparring. Yeah, so mainly all of those kicks are all super useful. Most kicks that don't require you to fly through the air within Taekwondo can be used with a little bit of adjustment within a sport context. That's been pretty well proven through the UFC. You have a bunch of guys who are using point sparring techniques in there now. But yeah, I love all the kicks. I'm a huge fan of the axe kick and the spinning back kick in particular, and the spinning hook kick. So those are ones that I use on a regular basis. I also throw the side kick a lot. So yeah, for Taekwondo, also that's yeah. So yeah, for Taekwondo, that's what I've learned the most from there, is the kicking aspect. Oh, and the timing. Oh, I don't want to forget that. The timing aspect of point sparring, which I learned in Taekwondo and also a little bit in my first martial art, Wun Hop Kuen Do, which is an offshoot of Kashu Kimbo. We did a little point sparring. And I did a little bit of point sparring in Weichi. The timing of point sparring is absolutely huge. Okay, when I am sparring people often note that I have a tendency to one-shot. I'm really good at finding an opening and sniping that opening and moving, sniping that opening and moving. And a lot of that ability comes from that time spent in that point sparring arena. Just drilling point sparring, finding that opening and hitting it quickly. So that is something that the timing of karate guys is top notch. When it comes to getting one solid shot, karate guys' timing, absolutely insane. And the next martial art I want to hit of the three that I really put a lot of focus in, like I said, I've touched a lot, but really focusing on these three, is a Shorin-ryu karate. It's the one I've studied. I'm newest to. I am still not, the most advanced guy compared to like my Weichi and all that, but I absolutely have fallen in love with it. I'm deep diving into the system, and there's a lot in there that's usable in Muay Thai. Now, the way I apply my Shorin-ryu, you guys have, if you've seen my other videos, you've seen some of the applications that I'll use. That being said, it's interesting. I can give credit to Shorin-ryu, but I also don't want to give a crazy amount of credit, because a lot of the stuff that I see in Shorin-ryu that I use in Muay Thai, which is in Shorin-ryu, I learned a good number of it in Muay Thai first. Like, a lot of what I've noticed is I've seen a connection between the Shorin-ryu kata and clinch work and grappling. But Muay Thai is so heavily clinch work and grappling, and I love the clinch so much that a lot of the techniques I've known even before I actually trained in Shorin-ryu. So it's hard for me to say that I learned it specifically from Shorin-ryu, but Shorin-ryu has all those techniques. So if you are a Shorin-ryu practitioner and you delve into the grappling aspects of Shorin-ryu, you can learn a large majority of Muay Thai's clinch work through your Naihanchi and Pinan katas in particular. There's a lot in there if you apply it the way I apply it. Again, everyone has different ideas of how to apply that, but that was a huge one for me. So that one has translated a lot, is the clinch work. And again, there have been some tricks that I've gotten from Shorin-ryu kata that I didn't know in Muay Thai. So I won't give it necessarily, like, it's not like my entire clinch game is from Shorin-ryu, but I definitely learned some tips and tricks from Shorin-ryu that that definitely do translate. And at some point, if I decide to switch to MMA, which I think I will, this will be a very different conversation, because there's a lot of techniques in Shorin-ryu that are illegal due to the rule sets in Muay Thai, but they're not illegal in MMA. And I learned them first in this situation in Shorin-ryu. So if I do end up switching over and you start seeing certain throws or takedowns, that for me, I would have ended up learning those first from Shorin-ryu. And I also just want to point out as well, for all those listening, that at the end of the day, what works, works. And a lot of the practical stuff in all martial arts are really similar and the same thing. Like I said, when I look at Shorin and Muay Thai's clinch work, there's a lot of similarities. It's mostly based around the rule set. The kicks of Taekwondo are fantastic. You'll also find them in karate. You can find similar stuff in Kung Fu, all over the place, right? So the iron body of Weishidu is also in Kyokushin karate. It's in many Kung Fus that have iron body ideals. And so even if I didn't mention, say, your martial art in here, understand that your martial art probably has a lot of the stuff that I've used in combat sports that you can use as well. Okay, because what works, works across the board. And as long as you're not hitting in the groin or the eyes for every shot, you can make it translate. Even if it's not the exact, it's not the exact same move, you can adjust it a little bit and make things work within that, sports fighting arena. And having little differences in the way you throw things and in the way you set things up because of, say, a different kind of more traditional martial art experience than what most people are doing will give you an edge, because they're not going to understand your timing. They're not going to maybe not recognize the move as fast because your setup's different. There's huge benefits in cross-training in the martial arts and how that can help you moving forward if you are someone who's hoping to go into the combat sports arena. So I hope you guys enjoyed this talk. I hope I explained myself well. If you guys have any questions or you have any of your own experiences with traditional martial arts and how that's helped you in a combat sports arena, please put it in the comments below. I'd love to talk to you guys about it and kind of build a little community where we talk about our love of martial arts and practical martial arts and making things work for us. So thank you guys. Stay out there and train. I appreciate you. See you later, Strike Team. Peace.